Welcome. My name is Sarah Lee Thomas. I have a master's in human nutrition and I'm a registered and licensed dietitian. This is a presentation, a few slides about omega-3 fats. There's a lot of information and misinformation out there, and I hope to kind of help you know what are they, why do you need them, and where to get them. So don't be scared of the chemical symbol up there for one of the omega-3 fats called EPA. But I have it up there because it'll help me explain what omega-3 fats are. So why are they called omega-3 to begin with? Well, omega is just, Greek for, alpha and omega means A to Z, or the beginning and the end. And so the little um, one, the red one, that's the end of the molecule. That's the omega end. So if you say omega-3, that means you go 1, 2, 3 carbons in, and where the 3 is, that's where the first double bond is, those double lines there. That's all it means. And why is that important? Why do we need omega-3 fats? Why do we need the bend in the fat there? Well, we need the bend in the fat there because our bodies can't put the bend in. Our bodies can make double bonds, but nothing below 9. So we can put it in, we can't put it in at 6, we can't put it in at 3. So because of that, both omega-3s and omega-6s are essential, meaning your body cannot make them. You have to get them from your food somehow. So that's all it means. Omega-3, 1, 2, 3 from the end, that's where the first bend is. And these bends are important because the shape of things, the shape of molecules kind of dictates what they can do in your body. And these bends are sort of like the little notches on a key. And you have that key, and then you can make other keys out of it. So you have your, like you go to the store to get a key made, a duplicate made, and they pick out the right one, and then they add other bends or whatnot. The same thing with keys, these keys in your body, these omega-3 fats. They come in like short keys. That's the plant omega-3. And they also come in longer keys or bigger keys, and that's the fish omega-3. And you'll hear people argue in the research and on the news that which one is more important. It's the, oh, forget about the plant omega-3. You only need the fish omega-3. It's the important one. Or you say, and they'll get into silly arguments, in my opinion, silly arguments about which is more important, EPA or DHA. Well, the bottom line is they all are important and they do different functions. The argument is silly in my mind because it's like saying, oh, you have to decide now which key do you want to give up? Do you want to give up your house key or your car key or the key, the so-called your secret login to your computer? Which one do you want to give up? Well, that's silly. You need them all. And the same thing with omega-3s. But it is true, you need them all. I mean, plant omega-3 fat, the ALA, it's the shorter one. And again, it has that omega-3 bend, and so that's good. But it's very hard for your body to make it longer, to turn it into one of the longer, the kind you get from fish. So your body can do that, but only about 5%. It can only turn about 5% of the ALA into EPA. So because of that, they do believe that it's essential or necessary to get some longer chain omega-3, and we usually get that from fish. And so we need about 2,200 milligrams a day of the ALA, the plant omega-3, and about 500 milligrams a day of the fish omega-3. And as far as the debate about EPA, DHA, they do different things. DHA is critical for the eyes and the brain. EPA is the one that gets turned into all the anti-inflammatory compounds in your body. So your body takes that EPA, modifies it here and there, turns it into keys that turn on and off different things in your body, like turns off inflammation. So that hopefully this kind of helps you understand a little bit what are omega-3 fats and why we need them. So this is some places you can get some sources of omega-3 fats. And regarding the 2,200 milligrams of plant omega-3 a day and the 500 milligrams of fish omega-3, those are some general ballpark figures. Some people don't need as much if they're a smaller person or a younger person, but these give you for adults, some good ballpark figures for how much you need per day. So you can see you can get a tablespoon of ground flaxseed meal, or an ounce of walnuts, that's 7 walnuts or 14 halves, or some soybeans, a cup of soybeans, or 1 teaspoon of flax oil will give you your entire requirement for plant omega-3 for the day. And then, or 2 tablespoons of canola oil. Canola oil is the highest in plant omega-3s of any of your common cooking oils that you buy at the grocery store. And you'd also get that omega-3 from margarines, like tub margarines that are made out of canola oil. So lots of choices there. One note on the flaxseed meal and the flax oil, it's good to store those in the refrigerator or freezer so that they don't turn rancid, because the oils are kind of delicate and they can get oxidized easily, and that changes their taste and smell and also their chemical nature. Okay, fish omega-3. So 500 milligrams a day of the EPA plus the DHA total altogether. And if you've already have heart disease, you've already had a heart attack, they actually recommend that you get 1,000 milligrams of the EPA plus DHA. So those two added together total 1,000 milligrams a day. So you can get 500 milligrams a day from eating 12 ounces of salmon a week, or taking 2 Phyzol fish oil pills, or 2 regular fish oil pills, or a enteric-coated fish oil pill from Kirkland that's like a 1 a day. And these brands are mentioned for educational reasons, just to give some examples. There's other brands, if they're similar, they would be good as well. The good news is that when they looked at, they did a study on common store brands of fish oil, and they found no contamination and no mercury. So all the ones they tested, they turned out fine. So that's the good news. Okay, so 12 ounces of fish a week is safe and beneficial for most adults, including pregnant women. Pregnant women only need to be careful about the type of fish, and so they need to, because the larger fish like shark or something is bad because it tends to be much higher in contamination and mercury, which is bad for a developing brain. But like things like wild salmon is a very good choice for pregnant women because, or anybody, wild salmon is highest in omega-3s and lowest in mercury and contaminants. But there's many other good choices as well. So this is a website that can give you some more information. This is provided for educational reasons. It doesn't imply endorsement. We don't have any control over their editorial content. Now I'd like to kind of compare and contrast salmon versus fish oil. Of course, you need to get your omega-3 fats somehow, but there is a difference between getting them from fish oil and getting them from salmon. So it's interesting, there's very strong research that by eating fish like salmon once a week or so, you can cut your risk of having a heart attack in half, up to half. So that's pretty strong research and pretty dramatic. The research on fish oil, it's pretty good as well, but you get about 20% less risk of heart disease, heart attack. So, no, that's good as well. But why the difference? Well, the difference is you can see that fish is a lot more than just omega-3s. There's a lot of other things that you get from fish that just aren't in fish oil. Fish oil is a supplement. It's, just the oil. So with salmon, if you get a 3-ounce portion of salmon, and that's to imagine a deck of cards, you get a whole host of vitamins, anywhere from 80% of your daily value for vitamin D to 425 milligrams of potassium, and also some B vitamins and magnesium. All these minerals and vitamins have important roles to play in your body and important roles for your heart and your health. That's also very low in sodium, salmon is, and low in contaminants. So salmon in particular seems to be lowest in mercury and lowest in contaminants, especially if you kind of don't eat the skin part. That's in most animals and fish and birds. That's where a lot of contaminants end up concentrating. This in the skin, the fatty tissue. So not eating that is a way to not only cut down on fat, but also cut down on contaminants. So let's take a look at some of these things. Astaxanthin is a very interesting compound. It's a carotenoid, just like beta-carotene, and it's what makes salmon pink. So and also other seafood. So astaxanthin, you get about 3 milligrams, quite a lot, from a 3-ounce portion of salmon. And that compound, astaxanthin, is over 400 times more powerful than vitamin E. And it's quite a strong antioxidant, and so that's all for the good. Also has a compound called DMAE, a little bit less studied, but seems to be linked to firmness of the skin. And I certainly observed this in my time working on the Warm Springs Indian Reservation. I ran across a couple of people, one lady in her 60s that could have easily been taken for 40, and a 80-some-year-old man who could easily have been taken for, maybe 60 at most. So, I don't know. That's anecdotal, no proof, but it's interesting. Also, we get quite a lot of magnesium from fish, and that's important for the heart and blood pressure and energy, and B vitamins, niacin, B6, B12. Those are important for energy release, and the B6 and B12 in particular are important to keep levels of a chemical compound called homocysteine. That level, if it builds up, it tends to damage the arteries, and so that's not good. So, but when you have enough B vitamins, then you are able to break down homocysteine before it can build up. And also, the last benefit that I listed for salmon or other fish is that it's not meat, because that's one thing that a food can give you that a supplement can't. You can eat like a hot dog or whatever and take your fish oil pills. Yay, you get your omega-3s, but you're still getting something that's not too good for you to have too often. But when you are choosing fish, you are choosing fish, and then you are not having, maybe instead, you're not having a hamburger or steak or whatever. So that's called like a displacement effect, and that's one thing. Even if salmon didn't have any of those great benefits in it, just by not having bad things in it, it can displace those other choices from your diet. So, but it does have all those other benefits. So, but the bottom line is you need omega-3s. So whether you get them from fish oil or whether you get them from salmon, you need them. But the fish oil has the advantage of there's no contaminants, and it's good if you don't like fish or you can't eat it often enough. I mean, yeah, seafood can be expensive. So it's both are good options, but just keep in mind that food does come with kind of a whole package deal, and that could be beneficial. Okay. So what kind of fish oil pills? Now these brand names are just mentioned for educational reasons. I'm not implying endorsement. They're just some good examples. If you find some similar brands to this, they would be good as well. These are just some that I've found useful either for myself or patients. Physol from Nature's Way. This is good if you just hate the big honkin' pills. that just Some of them are so huge, and that bothers some people. It doesn't bother other people, but if it bothers you, this is one brand I found that does have small capsules. It's also enteric coated, so some people, not everybody, but some people when they take regular fish oil pills, it kind of burps back on them. That's not necessarily pleasant. It doesn't hurt you, but it's kind of unpleasant. So enteric coated may also enhance absorption. So those are the benefits of the Physol. So 2 capsules of that a day would give you 500 milligrams of the fish omega-3. So that would be the daily amount for the average adult. Enteric coated concentrated fish oils from Costco, the Kirkland brand. The convenience there is you can just take 1 pill a day and you get nearly 700 milligrams of fish omega-3s. So, and they're also enteric coated, so no fishy burps, good absorption. And so, in 1 pill equals 2 regular pills. So, those are just some suggestions. Again, just mentioned for educational reasons. There's other good brands out there to look for. And on average, most people to get their daily amount need about 2 regular fish oil capsules a day. That would give you about 600 milligrams. So about around there. So thank you for your time, and hopefully you learn something about omega-3s and kind of cleared up some of the confusion and controversy. Thank you very much. Okay, so for a bonus, I'm including a salmon dip recipe. It's a favorite of mine. I got this recipe from Marianne Smith. She's a pharmacy tech on the Warm Springs Indian Reservation Health and Wellness Center, where I worked for over 15 years. And I just modified it to make it a little bit lower in saturated fat. So let's go ahead and see what the ingredients are. Use the 1 can of salmon. I like the wild Alaskan red salmon. It has more astaxanthin and omega-3 fats. And I have a bunch of green onions chopped up, a 1/4 teaspoon of liquid smoke. Liquid smoke you can usually get in the most grocery stores, right along where you find soy sauce and other things like that. And you can get a bottle for about $2, and it's great in recipes like this salmon dip recipe because you add the smoke flavor without having to pay for smoked salmon, which is very expensive. So it's also very good in bean soups, chilies, and so forth. So it's a good addition to your repertoire. And let's see. So after that, you add a tablespoon of lemon juice, a tablespoon of horseradish, and 8 ounces of fat-free cream cheese, and a pinch of dried parsley flakes. And here are the directions for the salmon dip. You drain the salmon and remove any visible bones or skin. And then you mix all the ingredients together in a small bowl. And an excellent tip for green onions, or actually other spices as well, is use scissors. Wash them with soap and water and rinse them, and then use them to quickly cut up the green onions. It saves you a lot of time and frustration, because sometimes when you cook, you are making green onions, chopping them up, they kind of don't quite chop apart. Anyway, so that's a good tip to use. Refrigerate until ready to eat, and it makes 12 servings of a quarter cup each. And some serving suggestion for the salmon dip is to serve with rye crisp crackers and baby carrots. Rye crisp crackers are whole grain, and baby carrots are an excellent vegetable. And this makes a very healthy no-cook meal or snack. So on those days where you don't really feel like cooking or it's too hot to cook, this is make yourself an excellent meal or snack with some salmon dip on rye crisp crackers and some baby carrots. So let's look at the nutrition and the percent daily value per quarter cup serving. Now, percent daily value is just a way to look at how much of a nutrient is in something. The daily value easy rule of thumb is 5% or less is low, 10% is medium, and 20% or more is high. And so the salmon dip, just a quarter cup, is an excellent source of those heart-healthy omega-3 fats. You get 500 to 600 milligrams of omega-3 fats. That's the same as 2 fish oil pills. It's very impressive. And again, I lowered the saturated fat from 20% daily value per serving, which is high in saturated fat, to 3% daily value by using the fat-free cream cheese instead of the full-fat cream cheese. And this is important because saturated fat is the fat that has a big impact on your LDL cholesterol. So if you cut down on saturated fat, it helps lower your cholesterol. And so a quarter cup has around 70 calories, is a great source of protein, and is medium in sodium. And enjoy. I think you'll really like this recipe. Give it a try.